So just a minute ago, we told you we're living through the highest unemployment rate in our lifetimes. Got a little overwrought there and ad-libbed. What I should have said, there's a larger percentage of the population not working than any time in our lifetimes. Different, I think that's a more accurate way to describe it. What we're about to show you right now is so disturbing, it would have qualified as a crime not so long ago. It comes from an HBO documentary, it's new, called Transhood. It shows a 4-year-old child called Phoenix and his mother at a Unitarian church service. The mother brings Phoenix to the altar to tell the congregation that Phoenix, who again is 4 years old, now identifies as a girl.
Today we choose to recognize, honor, love, and celebrate anyone here who would claim their identity publicly as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, intersex, pansexual, asexual, or any category that I've left out.
Do you want to tell everyone if you're a boy or a girl?
I just want to tell them that I'm a girl.
Okay, you can tell them that. Okay. Phoenix would like you to know that she's a girl and she prefers she and her pronouns.
Phoenix would like you to know that she's a girl. Now, if you're a parent, if you actually have raised children, you know what you're seeing is ventriloquism. 4-year-olds don't make decisions like that. They can't. And yet, across the country, many small children are being given puberty blockers and irreversibly damaging their bodies. Of course, some of them later regret it. It's grotesque. If you say that out loud, you're punished. Target will ban your book. You'll have trouble getting a job. This isn't just one parent abusing a child on TV. This is a nationwide, we're going to use the word epidemic, and everyone is too embarrassed to mention it. You're not allowed to say so. The Democratic Party is foursquare behind it. Joe Biden just announced that biological men should be allowed access to women's locker rooms in public schools across the country, and the top Democrat in the U.S. Senate agreed with him.
Joe Biden said that on his first day of office, he will give transgender students access to sports, bathrooms, and locker rooms in accordance with their gender identity in all federally funded schools. Do you think he has the ability to do this, and do you agree with this decision?
I agree with the decision, and I know he'll check things out thoroughly legally.
By the way, if you have specific questions, and you should, about what precisely this means, what are the definitions here, and what's the process, you get shouted down and attacked. You're not even allowed to know what they're talking about. Matt Walsh knows what they're talking about. He's the host of the Matt Walsh Show. He's been on top of the story for a while now. It takes some bravery. We're happy to have him on tonight. But just tell us what you make of this and how widespread you think it is, and where's it going? So many questions.
Well, we know that it's increasingly widespread, especially among children. I mean, this is what people need to understand. I think most people who are not far left crazy wackos realize that, like you said, a 4-year-old child who is a boy, and whatever declarations he makes about what he thinks he is, that's just a child who's confused or is in fantasy land. Children literally cannot differentiate between fact and fiction, reality and fantasy. I have a 4-year-old boy. He thinks he's a stegosaurus. So, but I'm not gonna take him to Jurassic Park or whatever. So, but most people understand this. But the problem is that a lot of people who understand it think that it's an isolated thing. It's a sideshow. It's not the most important thing going on in the country right now. But it's not isolated. It's not a sideshow. And this documentary shows. This is HBO putting this documentary out to promote gender confusion. They want your child, especially if you're sending your kid to public school, they want your child to be confused about his gender and to think that gender is fluid and he can be whatever he wants. This is the agenda, and it is widespread. It's becoming even more widespread.
So, I mean, this is an attack on nature, but on the most fundamental building blocks of any society, which is personal identity, which is your sex and biology itself. So why doesn't anyone say anything about this? Just ask the obvious question, like, what is this?
Well, it's the same story we see with everything else in the culture. People are afraid. This is one thing the left is very good at, where they make normalcy seem abnormal. They make you feel crazy for just being normal. So they could do something like bring drag queens to the library to read to a bunch of 5-year-olds. It's a completely crazy, weird, perverse thing to do. But if you object to that, then they start screaming at you like you're the degenerate. Like, why would you have any problem with this at all? So and then people just throw up their hands and they say, well, okay, well, never mind. I'm sorry to have intruded. That's the agenda, to make normalcy seem abnormal, and they're very good at doing it.
Only our cowardice makes that possible. I think. That is true. We are cowards for not asking the honest questions here. You are not a coward. Matt Walsh, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.